There are days when you can barely look in the mirror. Not because you don't recognize your face, but because you do. And you don't like what you see. Maybe you've said it out loud. Maybe only in your mind. But the words still land heavy. I hate myself. I hate my life. I don't know why I'm still here. If that's where you are, please know this. I made this for you, not to judge you, not to shame you into feeling better, but to sit beside you in the dark and light one small candle, one honest breath, one real moment of peace. You don't have to believe anything yet. You don't have to fix everything today. But stay. For this moment, let's just breathe. Let's just be here. Together. There's a voice inside you that never shuts up. It tells you things you'd never say to someone you love. You're a burden. You're a failure. You ruin everything. It repeats old messages from old pain, as if they were facts carved into your soul. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it screams, but it always hurts. And maybe part of you believes it, because that voice sounds so familiar, like something you grew up hearing, or something the world rewarded you for accepting. You don't have to pretend it's not there. That voice exists, but it isn't you. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one who's tired of hearing it. And that matters. That means there is still something inside you that wants peace, that longs for softness. That hasn't given up, even if you feel like you have. You're still listening. That means something. That means you still matter. Self-hate doesn't fall from the sky. You weren't born thinking you were worthless. You weren't born feeling ashamed of existing. You learned it, somewhere along the way. Maybe it was through constant criticism. Maybe through neglect. Maybe through subtle rejection over and over again, until your nervous system decided it must be you. You weren't born hating yourself. You were taught to believe you weren't lovable unless you performed, or pleased, or stayed quiet. You were punished for being too much, or not enough, or just you. So you adapted. You got quiet, you tried harder. You tried to become who you thought they wanted. But inside that performance, you started to disappear. And the pain of disappearing turned inward. It became self-blame, self-doubt, self-hate. You thought, if I was just better, they would have stayed. If I was worthy, they wouldn't have hurt me. If I was lovable, I wouldn't feel this empty. But here's the truth. It was never about your worth. It was always about their wounds, their limitations, their inability to love what they didn't understand. You were never the problem. You were just too young to see that, and too sensitive not to carry it. You were never told that you are not your pain. You were never told that survival is a kind of brilliance. You were never told that just waking up today was a kind of miracle. You learned how to breathe in a world that suffocated you. You learned how to carry wounds that weren't even yours. You were told you were dramatic, too sensitive, too emotional. But what you really were was deeply alive. And no one taught you what to do with that fire. So you turned it against yourself. But the fire isn't the enemy. It's your warmth, your depth, your light, misdirected. And it can be reclaimed. Because the truth is, you were never meant to live hating yourself. That's not your purpose, that's not your identity. That's a survival state you've been stuck in for too long. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be felt, seen, held. You don't need louder motivation. You need softer moments. Moments that whisper, I see why you hurt, you didn't deserve it. You are not broken. What you were never told is, you don't have to earn your right to love. You were born with it. You still carry it. Even if it's buried beneath years of silence. You are not too far gone. You are not beyond repair. You are not unlovable. You are simply waiting to return to who you were before the world taught you to doubt it. And I promise, that version of you is still here. Still breathing. Still reachable. Even now. Self-love isn't a light switch. It's not a 30-day challenge or a viral quote. It's a relationship. And like any relationship, it takes time. Especially when that relationship has been built on silence, resentment and shame. So start small. Start soft. Don't aim to love yourself overnight. Aim to stop hurting yourself a little less each day. Maybe it starts with not insulting yourself in the mirror. Maybe it's catching one cruel thought before it spirals. Maybe it's drinking water, and maybe it's making your bed. Not because it'll fix everything, but because it's a small act of saying, I matter enough to care. Self-love grows in tiny, invisible choices. Choosing not to punish yourself for resting. Choosing to speak gently when you mess up. Choosing to show up for yourself, even when no one else does. You don't need to feel it yet. You just need to practice it. Like a muscle. Like a language your body forgot how to speak. And every time you choose compassion, you're teaching your nervous system that it's safe to come home. Self-love doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. It means you don't abandon yourself when you do. And I know it's hard. When your brain is loud, when your past is heavy, when your future looks dim, but you are still here. And that means healing is still possible. You don't need to love yourself perfectly. You just need to not give up on the idea that you could, even just a little, even just someday, even just enough to stay. So here we are, not with a solution, not with a transformation, but with a moment. A moment that says, you're allowed to be in progress. You're allowed to hurt and still want healing. You're allowed to not know who you are and still be worthy of love. You've survived every day you thought you wouldn't. That matters. That's strength. You are not the worst thing you've done. You are not the worst thing that was done to you. You are not your loudest thought. You are not your darkest day. You are the one who is still here, still trying, still listening. And that is enough. So when the world feels too heavy, when the thoughts come rushing in again, when you forget how to believe in yourself, come back to this. Come back to this voice, to this truth, to this breath. You are loved. You are needed. You are not alone. And you never have to earn that. Just come back. Every time you forget.